Hi everybody. Hello there. We all right? I'm just waiting just to see if there's anybody else on there. Who have we got? We're just in. Okay. So they may not have found it or anything. Can see it later. Good. Right. Okay. So hi there. If you don't know me, I'm Louise. I normally take classes in venues and not on here. So this is only the second one that I've done, and it's just going to tally in with the class timetable that I normally do. So you've tuned in now, and we have a beginner's class or a level 1 class. Just before we start, if you are unwell or feeling unwell, make sure that you kind of dip out. You can just watch the video and do it when you feel a little bit better. Don't do anything which is going to cause you any pain. We never do anything that causes pain. If you can breathe through it and just let it go, then that's going to be fine. You're going to be okay with it. Any ouchy pains or any kind of stimulating nerve pain or anything, just shy away from that. Don't even go there. So things you're going to need. If you're already in a yoga class, then you may have a yoga block or a couple of blocks. If not, then you can grab yourself maybe a couple of books or something. So block like these, or just a good firm book. Also as well, maybe a good idea to grab yourselves a blanket. Don't worry if you haven't got a mat. If you're on the carpet, then that's fine. Or even a slidey floor, you're going to be okay. You're going to be bare feet, and your feet will probably stick to that. And a yoga belt as well. If you don't have a yoga belt, then you're fine. You can just go with a dressing gown cord or something like that. Okay, right then. So once you grab those things, I just want you to bring yourselves down to sitting. So just sit nice, easy, cross-legged. So you can either just cross at the shins and sit down. So sitting up on a block is really going to help, because it's going to help extend the spine. So it takes the pressure off. When we sit without a block, we tend to kind of roll back a little bit if you're not that used to it. So sitting up nice and tall will really help. And ideally, you want to kind of get the knees to either be on the same level or a little bit lower than the hips. So if the knees are up here, then it'll indicate that you do need to grab yourselves something to sit on. Even if you've got a firm cushion, then it's going to be fine. Okay, so once we're there and we're sat nice and comfortable, we can just start to roll the shoulders back. And just have a little wriggle out so you feel a little bit more connected. So connected down towards the ground. So really feel your place. And then just keep the hands just onto the lap, just closing the eyes. So just take a moment here, just to let yourself just see how you actually feel today. Maybe the first time that you've sat down, or the first time that you've tuned in to how your body actually feels. So good just to take that time just to really see kind of how you actually feel. And then twin it with the breathing. So notice how you feel as you inhale. Notice how you feel when you exhale. Allow the attention now just to sway a little bit more towards the breathing. So really start to notice that breath. And you want to keep the body fairly soft. So when you're inhaling, you feel that the body can start just to expand. And when you exhale, the body just softly moves back in. So we inhale, the body expands, widens, heightens. And as we exhale, it moves back in. So we keep the breath nice and soft. We keep the body soft. And that way the body becomes a little bit more pliable. We can go a little bit further with it. So we don't want to feel rigid in any of the poses. Now we're going to bring our hands together. So bring in the right hand towards the left hand, palms just pushing together. It really helps us to kind of feel that balance on both sides of the body. And also, as we gently push the hands together, we'll maybe feel that kind of widening out a little bit across the shoulders. Again, just allowing the attention just to be on the breathing. Good. And then lighten that, pushing the hands together. So the hands just come together really gently. Just closing the eyes. And just ask yourself what it is that's brought you to the practice. What it is you want out of the practice. Whether that's clearing head space, or if you're working towards something. But make it personal. Personal and heartfelt to you. And then set an intention for your practice. So maybe it is the time just to have that headspace. One pointed attention. Let that carry you through your practice. And then bring the thumbs up just to the space between the eyes. This comes to the Ajna chakra, or intuitive center. This reaffirms your intention. And then taking the hands up over the crown. So your intention is then out there. And draw the hands down towards the heart center. This being our center for love and compassion. And also making sure that you carry that forward as well in your practice. So being good to yourself. And then releasing the hands down to the knees. Again, just have a little bit of a wriggle out so you can make sure that you feel completely connected. Then you're going to bring your right hand down to the floor. Take your left arm up and start to raise that arm. You can bend your right one as you take the left one going over the head. So we feel a good stretch out through the whole of the side of the body. So just hold there for a moment. You're feeling this stretch here. Make sure that the hip stays pinned down as you stretch the arm over. And then bringing the hand back down. And then we can take the arm up. Again, make sure the hips stay pinned down as you take the arm up and over the head. And then bring it back again. We're just going to go same again. Keep it moving this time. So go to what you feel is nearly your maximum stretch. And then bring it down and then over to the other side. And then once more going over to each side. And you'll notice as you start to do the movement, it starts to free off that space a little bit more than the first time. Okay, roll the shoulders back and then bringing your hands forward. Take the arms up over the head. Inhale, lift the arms up even more. And we're going to exhale and turn and twist to your right side, bringing the hand down. One hand back behind your back and the left hand is going to press down into the leg. We'll make sure that the left hip is staying down. As you turn, you twist from your belly. Feel the twist going into the rib cage and into the chest, and a gentle twist of the neck. We'll take a couple of breaths there. And then inhale, taking the arms up. And exhale, bringing the arms down. Inhale, taking the arms up. And then exhale as you twist round to the other side. One hand back behind and one hand pressed down. Now you'll notice that I say the other side. And it's often because I forget which is the right, which is the left. So just bear with me. If you've done one side, you're going to be doing the other side. Okay, so we're pressing the hand down. We're feeling that twist going through the belly. We're turning into the rib cage, the chest, and then the neck just gently looks back. And then we inhale, taking the arms up, and exhale, bringing the arms down. Bring the hands into lock And then turn the hands over and look at that negative space in between the hands and in between the arms. Stretching the arms away. Make sure that the fingers are interlocked right down to the webbing. And then taking the arms up over the head. A big stretch up. Pull the arms up as high up as you can and then draw the shoulders back down a little bit so you feel that space around from shoulder to shoulder. Again, make sure you still feel connected. When we go up, we start to lose our seat and we start to kind of a little bit wobbly with it. So make sure you do feel grounded. And then back down again. Turn the hands over. Now the hand with the finger on the top, slide them all down one. So this is a change of the interlock. Turn the hands over and then taking the arms up over the head. Again, big stretch up. Reach up as you inhale and then exhale, just soften that out a little bit so we get that space from shoulder to shoulder. So we're inhaling, exhaling nice and softly with the arms stretching up. And feel the length as well through the sides of the body. And then slowly start to bring the hands down. Okay, so we're going to come just over or off the blocks for a moment. I'm going to start just to move my blanket out of the way. So we're just onto our mat. Now if you bend the legs, just holding onto the backs of the legs. If you take a little scrunch over and you'll feel that tightness in the back. And then start to lift up out of it so the back feels straight. Start to pull back a little bit, still holding onto the legs. As we start to pull back, you'll feel that the feet start to just lift away from the floor. So we're just holding there. We're pulling with the arms, keeping the chest lifted up as high as we can. The feet are pushing down as if heading down towards the floor. Draw the knees in maybe a little bit higher. And maybe start just to lift up with the right. Looking towards the toes, and then back down, and then onto the left, and then back down. Okay, see if we can do both, and then back down. Okay, at the moment we're really hanging on. So see if we can start just to take the legs up, and we can bring the arms away. Hold back on, pull back in. And then if we fold the legs and just take them over, and see if we can maybe just rock over the knees. If that's not accessible, just come over onto the hands and knees. Okay, so onto the hands and knees, we've got our wrists underneath the shoulders and our knees underneath the hips. So from here, we're just going to take the big toes together. Take your knees out a little bit wider now and take the bottom back towards the heels. So it's important to get the bottom back. It's going to give you a really nice stretch out in the lower back. Now, if you can keep the bottom back, stretch the arms forward and the forehead comes down towards the floor. So again, we feel that stretch moving then along the whole of the back. If that's not working, if your bum is up in the air while your head is down, take a block or two, or a book, or a cushion. Take that underneath your forehead, get the bottom back, and so we're resting onto the blocks. So if we can, keep the arms stretched. So if you're not needing to have your blocks there, then you can stretch the arms away and the head comes down. Take a breath. And then bring yourselves back onto your hands and knees. So knees in, underneath the hips, just widen out with the feet. Hands are back underneath the shoulders. So a nice simple cat stretch. We're going to start off just first of all by feeling that we're pulling up right from the small of the back. So draw it up towards the ceiling and then bring it back down again. So just work a couple of times just in the small of the back, just so we start to feel that area move. So there's often people go straight up between the shoulder blades and that bit moves quite easily, and the small of the back has a little bit of trouble kind of catching up. So get the small of the back to move and then allow it just to incorporate the rest of the spine. When we come back down and we're dipping down, we still have that little bit of control just at the core, just as we start to bring the spine back down again. So we're not just allowing everything to collapse. So we're easing up and easing back down. When we draw up, we're lifting up right up away from the shoulders. The chin comes right in towards the chest, tailbone tucks under. And as we come back down, the chest moves forward and we can start to lift the head. So we can start then just to bring in the whole of the spine, so including the neck, but still with the spine. Okay, then we'll come back into a neutral position. From here, we're going to take our right leg back. So toes are pressing into the floor, hips are level, and then we can start just to lift that leg. So making sure that the hips stay level to the floor, so we're not flying off too high. Take the opposite arm straight out in front. And take your attention into how you feel inside. Which parts of the body feel as if they need to move? Feel the fluctuations happening. Maybe focusing on a spot will help. But just making sure that we draw back a little bit through the core. Bring the hand back in, bring the leg back in. Then over onto the other leg. So we're going to take that leg back. So left leg. Then we can start to lift that leg up. Take the opposite arm straight out in front. And back in. So one more time on each side. Now notice the foot that I'm leaving on the floor, the top of the foot is pushing down. It pushes down and the shin pushes down. We feel that we pull up away from the knee and pull up out of the hip. So again, we can start to lift that leg. So this leg on the floor is really starting to stabilize. Then we can take the opposite arm straight out in front. Bring it back in. Bring the leg back in. Once more on the other side. So leg goes back. We straighten the leg out first. Then we start to lift that leg. Opposite arm straight out in front. The foot, which is down on the floor, is stabilizing. So it's setting our foundations. And then bring that leg back in. So whatever is the nearest point on the floor is really your setup for the pose. Take your knees out wide again. Keep the big toes together. Take the bottom back towards the heels. Again, if you do need to have something underneath your head, place it there and stretch forward. And then bring yourselves back up again. So we're going to bring the knees back in. Hands are in, just underneath the shoulders. Now I'm going to make sure that the elbows are bending back, so not out to the side. So as we start to bend them, we're just going to come forward a little bit and then push back up again. So we bend them back, we come forward, and then we come back again. So again, bending and coming back up. Bending and coming back up. It's a strong one to do, so you're going to make sure that you really lift up out of your shoulders. So we can just take it maybe just a little way and then come back up again. Okay, we're going to come back to that in a moment. So just sit back for a moment and just rotate the wrists. Hands go back down. Okay, this time, tops of the feet are pressing down, shins are pressing down, and we're just going to slowly start just to edge the hips forward. And then pull back again. So once we touch back, then we come back up, and we bring it back through. And then back again. And then we come back through. So we feel that opening up through the front of the body. Now this time when we come up, we're coming up with a nice rounded back. We're going to bend the elbows, push back up and sit back down. So we'll come up, rounded back, bend the elbows, push back up, sit back down. Okay, one more. So we come up, rounded back, bend the elbows, push back up, sit back down. If that starts to feel a little bit much, then on the next stage you'll be coming through just as if you're bringing your hips forward. Okay. If you can, you come up, rounded back, We bend the elbows, slide forward and lift up. So then everyone joins us here. Then we're head down, round out in the back, pull back, bottom back towards the heels. And again, so we come up, bend the elbows, come forward just a little way and lift up. Tops of the feet still pressing down, head down, roll back and pulling back. Bring your hands in, just rotate your wrists. Okay, so how are we doing? We okay? I can see I'm starting to lose a little bit of light, so I'm hoping it's going to be okay. And we'll maybe sort that for the next one. Okay, right. So hands are forward, good stretch forward. Come up. Now if everyone just joins us this time, just edging the hips forward. We're going to tuck the toes under. Then start to pull back. Now as soon as we start to go back, as if the bottom is going to head back to the heels, we're going to bring it up into a pose, Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. We're just going to pedal out a little bit with the feet. So any little bits of cracking we can get out of the way, and also feel a nice stretch along the backs of the legs. Now we push back through the arms. Make sure the hands are pressing evenly into the floor. So middle finger ideally is pressing forward, but make sure that the index finger and the thumb, so the first finger and the thumb, are pressing down. We'll come right up onto the toes. Now make sure you feel as if your rib cage is housed evenly in the skin as you start to take the heels back and then the chest heads back. But again, it's housed evenly in the skin. Otherwise, we're going to kind of dip and your bottom will stick out and the back will hollow out. So we keep it just edging back. Again, come right up onto the toes, sink back a little bit more, keeping the rib cage housed evenly in the skin. Then let the heels come back. And then come down to the knees and resting down. So again, when you rest down, if you do need to have a block underneath the head, by all means take a block there. Rotate your wrists if you need to. Okay, we're going to lift back up again into Ardha Mukha Svanasana, and then we'll come up to standing. So if you take your hands just forward straight away, that's it. So we've got the heels pushing back, and then we can just tuck the toes under, push to lift up. Now before we go on any further, make sure that there's no tension anywhere. So give the head a little nod, yes. A little shake, no. And then a horse impression. Any tension out of the face. Start just to walk your feet in. You're going to walk them in just maybe about 8 inches or so away from the hands. If you're struggling to get the hands onto the floor, again, grab hold of your blocks. You can place them underneath your hands or bend your knees a little bit more. So you're able to get the hands down onto the floor. If you are able to keep the hands down and we can straighten the legs, then that's fine. We're just going to hold here for a few breaths. So a nice inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Remember, keep that as comfortable as you need to be. If you need to bend your knees, have the hands up a little bit higher, then by all means do. So now just get the hands onto the front of the legs, plant the feet down, really work it strongly into the legs, and slowly start to roll to come up to standing, taking the shoulders back. Okay, so just bringing your feet together. Get the shoulders back. And everything should be nice, evenly stacked up on top of each other. So we have the ankles underneath the knees, and we have the knees underneath the hips. We have the hips underneath the shoulders, and we have the ears in line with the shoulders. So for a lot of us, the chin will be forward and we need to take it back. Okay, standing with the feet just a little bit of a distance apart. We can start to take the arms up over the head. And as we come up, we're going to come up onto the toes. Making sure that we're pressing down through that big toe. And then back down again. And then again, inhale as you come up. Right up onto the toes, pressing down with that big toe. And then back down again. And then one more. And back down. Good. Okay. So turning, I'm going to turn so you can see me sideways on. My feet are going to be a little bit closer together. I'm going to take my arms out just to shoulder height. Palms are facing down. I'm going to start to bend my knees. Now my ankles usually crack. I think we're okay today. Okay, so we're going to keep the feet pressing down and keep a lift moving up in the body. And just slowly start to bend the knees. Oh, there's one cracking. So we keep the tailbone tucking under. We don't want to stick the bum out. We keep it down. Keep the arms stretched out in front and feel as if the knees are squeezing together. Then push down through the legs and through the thighs and bring yourselves back up again. Okay, hands down by the sides. This time we'll do it with the arms up over the head. So arms go up and then start to bend the knees. Keep the arms lifting up as much as you can. Keep the tailbone tucking under. It's a strong pose, so make sure that you keep a smile on your face. We're just going to be here for 20 breaths. I'm joking. We're not. We're only going to be here one more breath. So we inhale and we exhale. Press down through the feet and slowly start to come back up and bringing the hands down. Okay. So if you've got a mat, be at the front edge of your mat. If you haven't, just make sure you've got a little bit of room behind you. Actually, I'm going to go this way so I can see a little bit clearer. Feet are staying closer together. Now I'm going to go through something called the sun salutation. So on this is a series of postures which we put together and we string along, and it all gets into a nice flowing movement. So it gets the body really nicely warmed up and preparing for the postures. Okay, so if we bring the hands in, again, hands gently pushing together, so we'll feel that balance of the right and the left side of the body. And then drop the hands down. Inhale, taking the arms up over the head. Now exhale, if you've got room, you can go wide with the arms and come down to the floor. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Then we're coming up to halfway, so we're going to press the hands into the shins and lengthen forward, so we come into a flat back. And then back down again. We're going to take our right leg, a nice big stride back. So we almost look like a get, set, go position. Nice and strong in that back leg. And then take the left leg back. So we're in a plank position. We're pushing away from the wrists and up away from the shoulders. So we're not sinking in, we're lifting up. Now I'm going to bring the knees down, bottom back towards the heels. Now we start to come forward with a rounded back. I'm going to start to let the feet go as we bring the hips forward and we're lifting the chest, looking up. Then head down, pull back, tuck the toes, lifting up. Edge your feet in just a little bit closer. Remember about the ribcage being housed within the skin. And we release back. You need to give the head a little nod, yes, and a shake, no, or a little horse impression. So there's no tension held. Maybe just wiggle the hips over from side to side, or you can even start just to pedal out a little bit with the feet. And then we come right up onto the toes. Sink the heels back. And we're going to start to walk in towards the hands. So just gently walking in. And head back down. Then we take the arms wide. Bend your knees, a good deep bend. Plant the feet into the floor as we bring the arms up over the head and back in. Okay, so we're going to do the same again on the other side. Drop the hands down. Inhale as you take the arms up. Exhale as we come all the way down. Inhale up to halfway. Press into the shins, lengthen forward. And then exhaling back down. Taking your left leg back this time. So in that get, set, go position. And then take the right leg back. So we're into our plank position. Knees come down. Take the bottom back towards the heels. And then come up, edge forward. Release the feet, lifting the chest. Then we come back up, so round the back, tuck the toes and lifting up. Edge your feet in a little bit if you want to. Go through some of the movements. If you feel comfortable with it, you're going to start to stay still in it. So we keep pushing in with the hands or pushing away with the hands, nice and grounded with the feet, with the toes all open. And then start to walk in. Release back down, take the arms wide. So remember, you can plant the feet down and then we draw back in again. Okay, so we'll add a little bit to that now. So we're going to drop the hands down, inhale, taking the arms up. Exhale as we go wide, come all the way down to the floor. Remember, bend your knees as much as you need to. Come up to halfway, lengthen forward. Back down, taking the right leg back. Now, once we've got the leg back this time, bring your knee straight down to the floor. Flatten the foot, press it down. Start to raise your arms. The arms are coming up over the head. We can even start, we need to draw the belly in, but we can start to take the arms a little bit further back, it'll go. So there should be no tension on that front knee. Should all be pushing back into the back foot and pulling up away from the front leg. Then bring the hands back down to the floor. Tuck the toes. Straighten out with the leg. Bring that leg back. This time knees come down, we flatten the feet. We either go through with the hips forward or we bend the elbows, we come forward and we lift. Next, head down, pull back, tuck the toes and lift. Edge in just a little way. Now this time we're going to take that right leg up high. So remember not to swing the leg, you don't want to swing right into the back, so just keep it nicely lifted and then squeeze it into the chest, round it out as much as you can, placing that foot through. And sometimes it takes a little bit of an effort, and if you only land there, just walk it in and then stepping in. Head down, take the arms wide, inhale as you come up and back in. Okay, onto the other side. So hands down, inhale, take the arms up over the head. Exhale as you go wide, coming all the way down to the floor. Up to halfway. And back down. Left leg, big stride back. Bring your knee down. Take your arms up. So remember that back foot is flattened out. So arms are lifting. We can start maybe to take the arms a little bit further back. So it's more of a bend from here, right up in the top part of the back, not from the belly moving forward. So we start to get those arms back, the belly stays lifted. Okay, then we're bringing it back down. Tuck the toes, straighten out in the back leg, front leg back to join it. Knees down. Take the bottom back a little bit towards the heels. Then we're going to round out the back. We're going to start to come down, dip through, and lifting up. So we're up into Bhujangasana. Then head down, pull back, tuck the toes, and lifting through. So if you feel comfortable in the pose, we stay still. If you need to wriggle out a little bit to find your place in it, then that's fine. Then we start to lift up with the left leg. We can squeeze that in towards the chest, coming right in, shoulders coming up over the wrists. Place your foot down, step it in, head down, arms wide, inhale, coming all the way up, and hands back in. Okay, so we'll step it up just a little bit more. So inhale, taking the arms up. Exhale, go wide, coming down. Inhale, up to halfway. Exhale, back down. Taking the right leg back. Bring your knee down. Inhale as you're taking the arms up over the head. Now we're going to take a twist. So we're going to bring our left hand down onto that left leg. Take your right elbow across. So it goes over the knee. So when it goes across, we bring the palms together. So when the palms come together and we're still pushing in with that back foot, we're turning, we're twisting, and we're looking up. Okay, hold in there. So hold that twist. Then look forward, taking the arms up. Bring the hands down to the floor, straighten out in the back leg, front leg back to join it. Knees down, relax the feet, bring the arms or bend the arms so we can come through. This time, if you can, bring the knees up away from the floor. So just the tips of the toes are down. So this is Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, your upward facing dog. Now you're either knees down, pull back and lift up, or if you're able to, squeeze into the belly, roll back over the toes, and then coming up into Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Take a few breaths. Now as you're exhaling, squeeze your belly back just a little bit more. And then we can start to take our right leg up in the air. Again, making sure that you're not overdoing that into your back. And then squeeze that leg in. Bring the weight of the shoulders coming over the wrists. Placing that foot through and step it in. Taking your arms wide and come all the way up. And drawing the hands in. Okay, so same for the other side. So drop the hands down. Inhale, taking your arms up. Exhale, go wide. Come all the way down to the floor. Inhale, up to halfway. Exhale, back down. Left leg goes back. Knee going down. Taking the arms up. That nice big stretch up. Remember, we have that little bit of a bending back right from the top part of the back. I'm going to bring the right hand down onto the right leg. Left arm comes over the top. We're bringing the hands together, pushing the hands together, just making sure that we feel that gentle twist going through the body. And then we can look forward. Inhale as we come back up. Bringing the hands down. Straighten out through the back leg. Front leg back to join it. So in our plank position, bring your knees down. Relax the feet. Come forward, lifting through. So it's Bhujangasana if the knees are down. If the knees are up, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, it's a little bit deeper into the back bend. Roll over the toes if you can, coming up, or through being on the knees first is fine. Okay, so we're there with it. We can just relax the neck, make sure that there's no tension held. If you need to, just take a little ease out with the hips. But as soon as you can, come back to that point of stillness. Sometimes all the little fluctuations and all the things that we do are all just distractions from what we have to actually go through. We can spend our whole lives just distracting, but we need to sometimes just go through things. Okay, so we take our left leg up. And then we start to bring that leg in. And placing the foot down. Step it in. Take the arms wide. Inhale as we come all the way up. And the hands are in. Okay, so just take a moment. Take a breath. How are we all doing? Are we all right? Okay, right. So we're just going to do a couple more standing postures and then we'll start to bring it down. So now that we're nicely warmed up, okay, with your sun salutations. So if we now just come into the middle of your mat, make sure you're stood nice and straight to begin with. So without really disturbing the body too much, take a leg length apart with the legs. So one of your leg lengths. Bring your arms out to the side. So when your arms are out, they're level with your shoulders. Now we're going to turn to the right side first. So we're going to turn in with your left leg and turn out with the whole of that right leg. Now keep your hips and your chest facing towards me. We keep pushing back into that left leg, and as we exhale, we start to stretch over towards the right. So imagine that there's a bar or something here. You're lifting up and you're moving over that bar. And then bring the hand down towards the leg. Other arm is lifted straight up. So it's one straight line from the top arm to the bottom line. Stretching out, and right from the centre of the chest, stretching out. Now, it's not essential to get the hand down to the floor. Don't worry about that. Even if you're up here with it, that's fine. As long as this leg is working to really pull up and to stretch over. It should be that even stretch both sides of the body. Remember when we talked about the rib cage housed evenly in the skin? We can look up towards that top hand. And then push into that left foot. If you push in, we use the core, you come straight back up. Turn the feet. We're just going to refresh the arms. If you had had enough, if you feel it's a bit much, keep the hands just onto the hips for now. Otherwise, keeping the arms out. So we're going to turn in. Your right foot turns in, your left leg is turning out. Keeping that lift. Now exhale as we glide over, and then let the hands just drop down. So the arms just windmill round. One arm down, one arm up. Stretching out right from the centre of the chest. Keeping that right foot, and especially the outer edge of that right foot, really pushing down. And with the left, we're drawing up on that leg, right up into the hip. Again, rib cage housed evenly in the skin. So no extra strain on the top ribs. We're looking up. As long as there's no strain in the neck. And then we push down into the outer edge of that right foot. Draw back a little bit through the core. Let yourself spring back up again. And turn the feet back in. So we can just refresh the arms. Take the arms out nice and wide. And then bring them down. Just walk the feet back in. So just reset. Roll the shoulders back. Keep the lift. Okay, so we've done Trikonasana. That's our first basic standing posture. So we'll work this now into Virabhadrasana 2. So we're going to take the legs even wider this time, if we can. Have the feet facing forward to begin with, and let the arms come out to the sides. So again, keep your arms to the level with your shoulders. And we're going to be going to the right side again. So we're going to turn in with that left foot. Turn out with the right leg. Keep the hips and chest facing towards me. Keep pushing back into the outer edge of the left foot as you slowly start to bend that right knee. Now as we bend, we're working it so the knee is directly on top of the ankle bone. Your shoulders are directly on the hips. So if you're back here somewhere, you need to maybe look at that. That's kind of a bit too lazy, isn't it? If you're here, you're kind of really thinking forward of what's going to be coming next. So you need to be in the present. We need to kind of get these shoulders right over the hips. Now, if you have a quick look down towards the leg, the knee wants to be tracking in the same direction really as the toes, or even think of it towards, if you're looking at it, the knee heading towards the little toe side. And we're just going to hold there. We're going to turn the head and just look beyond the middle finger of that right hand. Keep pushing back right into that left foot. Your strength is always going to be what you've left behind. Your foundation, your setup. After your next exhalation, push into that left foot, straighten out with the right leg, turn the feet back in. Refresh the arms. And then for a moment, just bring them down onto the hips. If you're not used to kind of having the arms out, and if you're a beginner, you're not always going to be used to doing that. When else would you be doing that? Okay, so if you're not really used to doing it, and if it starts to ache a little bit, the best thing to do is just remember helium balloons underneath your arms. So nice and light with the arms stretched out. Okay, so we're back again, arms out. Turn in with your right foot, turn out with your left leg. Keep your hips and chest facing forward. Keep that lift. Keep a smile on your face and a lightness in the body, zipped up. Okay, we can slowly start just to bend the knee. So the whole time pushing back into that right outer edge of the foot. So we bend this left knee enough so the knee is directly on top of the ankle bone. We can have a quick glance down, make sure that the knee is tracking in the same direction as the toes and more towards the little toe. We make sure our shoulders are set and they're over the hips. We're turning, we're just looking beyond that middle finger. Notice how it feels. There's a lot going on in this pose, but just allow the attention just to be on the breathing. Okay, then push into the right foot. Inhale, come all the way back up. Turn the feet back in. Refresh the arms. Bring the hands down onto the hips. And just heel toe the feet back in. Take the shoulders back, bringing the arms down. And well done on those. They're quite tough poses, and when you're holding them for a little while, you know, they're quite strong, but they really do help to build a strength in the body. Okay, I'm going to start just to bring it down a little bit now. So I'm going to get you back down on your mats again, back down on the floor. So I'm going to get you just to have your blocks handy. So they can just be either side. Now if you bring your legs just into a crook knee position. So feet are going about hip distance apart. Oh, sorry, you need one of your blocks in between your feet. So it kind of goes in between. Put that onto the floor. So legs are in that crooked knee position, hands just down by your sides. Now I'm going to start just by taking a little pelvic tilt first of all, so just rocking the pelvis forwards and back. So doing that, you're not supposed to feel that up in the chest or up in the throat. If you're kind of doing it too much, you'll start to feel it there, you're overdoing. So we really need to isolate it, just rocking the pelvis forwards and back. So you'll feel the small of the back hit the floor and then move away from the floor. Hit the floor, move away from the floor. Hit the floor, move away from the floor. Okay? And we don't need to squeeze the buttock muscles as we do that. We can just get the movement going just on its own without kind of really feeling that we need to bring in any of that muscular tension in there. So our hands are just down by the sides. Now we can start just now just to exaggerate that movement even more. So if we have the palms facing up to begin with, and then slowly start, as we're rocking and we're getting the small of the back pushing into the floor, we push through the feet and we start to get the hips to lift. We keep the chin in towards the chest so it keeps the cervical spine nice and long. So cervical spine being your neck. And then once we come up to what we feel is a maximum height, we can start to bring it back down again. And then again. So we push, we roll, we lift up. And we come back down. On this third one, we're going to stay. So we push, we lift up, and we come up to what we feel is a comfortable height. Now the hands this time can come underneath the back. Interlock the fingers. Draw your elbows in. We're going to just rock over. Take one shoulder under. Take the other shoulder under. Press down now with the arms. Pressing down with the feet. Keeping the chest lifted, hips lifted. Keep the tailbone tucking under. So hold, keep your attention just on the breathing. And after the next, or on the next exhalation, just allow the shoulders to release and slowly start to come back down. Once you're down, again, take those little tilts and then a little rock going over from side to side. We can move the block away. But hang on to your block. Push your way through the legs. Push out through the heels. Holding onto the block, take the block over the head. So a nice big stretch out along the floor. Okay, and then bringing the arms back. We can just bend the legs. And then one leg at a time, just bring them in. Take a little rock over from side to side. And we can start just to maybe rock. Until you come back up to sitting. So that gives the spine just a little bit of a massage out. Okay, so if we grab hold, again, of our block. Bring it straight out in front. Feet are onto the floor. Now keep that lift in the chest. Come back a little way. Then bring the feet up away from the floor. Start to bring the feet up as if you're going to tap hold of that block. Bend the legs back in and place the feet back down. Well done. Okay. Grab hold of your belts. Now, if you've got two blocks, or if you've got a cushion, firm cushion, then you can have that. If you've got your two blocks, you're going to make them a little bit like a seesaw. So one there and one kind of like that. So that's going to go underneath. So I'm going to place that underneath the hips. So when you draw the legs in, and we get a little seesaw action just going with the legs. The belt then, you're just going to use it just as one long piece, so don't bother about the loop on the end, and just hook the feet or the belt around the feet. And make sure it's round the ball of the foot. So we're holding on, legs are pushing up, and we can slowly, as we breathe, just allow the legs just to come over that little bit more. So no pulling, no straining. So my arms are just hanging on. Working to keep the legs straight as we can. Taking a couple more breaths here. Okay, and then bring the legs back up. We can just lose the belt for a moment. Bend the legs back in. You can always give them a little squeeze in towards the chest first and then down to the floor. You can just remove the blocks for a moment. Again, squeeze the legs in. Take a little rock. And up to sitting. So you may need to sit yourselves up just on a block. Again, if your back feels a little bit tight, you'll be kind of rolling back on it. So it's going to help just to keep that lift. Keep the feet pushing away. Now you can come right to the front edge of your block, and that will pull some of the flesh away. And it'll feel as if you then just sat just right on the sitting bones. Take your belt and wrap it just around your feet. Again, around the ball of the foot, just exactly like you did when we were lying on our backs. We're holding on, keeping that lift, keep the shoulders back and down. Now it's more a case of working, the feet are pushing away and the body is just melting to come over. So as you can see, my arms are just quite loose and just passive at the moment. I'm not kind of doing this to get any muscular tension to drive myself down there. I can just kind of take it nice and steady Now, if you keep going, I'm just going to go sideways on so you'll be able to see me a little bit better. So if I'm on the edge of a block, I'm almost off that block. So the belt is round, we keep the lift, and it's a case of just softening, coming forward. Now I'm not rounding to come forward, you can see how my back starts to hunch. It's more of a keeping a lift, and it's a hinging at the hips. So we hinge forward exactly like you did when we started off with the sun salutations. So we hinge at the hips, we come forward, we keep the legs pressing down, we stay looking straight ahead. So always looking slightly further than where we need to be. So the pose is called Paschimottanasana, which means an intense stretch of the of the east. It isn't, it's the west. Oh my goodness, it is, it's the west. Okay, so which means the back of the body. So, okay, so an intense stretch. So we need to feel that stretch along the whole of the back of the body. So we start to come forward, we start to come forward. Now, if you feel that it kicks in, kind of bra strap height, then that's maybe enough just to go there. If you feel that you can straighten that out and come a little bit further forward, you're feeling more of a long stretch, an even stretch, then go a little bit further down. If the hands are at the feet, you're going to take them beyond the front of the foot. So take the hands around the back and even the thumbs, bring them round onto the soles of the feet. We stay looking forward unless your chest is resting onto your legs. You're not dropping the head down. So stay looking forward. And then when you feel you're at your measure, just let the chin come in. Concentrate just on your breathing. Nice and smooth. And then after your next exhalation, grab hold of the belt, lift the head, lift the chest, pull the hands along the belt. It's always nice and rewarding when you see how far down you've gone. Okay. So to come out of this now, we're just going to move the blocks. You're going to just begin to lie yourself down. Now, you can take your blocks or if you have a bolster, you can wrap that like a big load of cushions. You can wrap that and place that, sorry, not wrap it, you can place it at the backs of the legs. If you do have the blocks, you can always place them in just underneath the legs, like so, and just lie yourself back. If you have a blanket, you can wrap that over you to get nice and cozy warm. And if you take the arms out, so you have the inner arms and the palms facing up towards the ceiling. Lengthen out to the back of the neck, so just drawing the chin down. And maybe let the head just gently turn from side to side. You're feeling that release. And then bringing the head back to the center. Just gently close the eyes. And just allow your attention then just to be on the breathing. So soft, smooth, quiet breath. Take the attention of the breath just into the forehead. With every exhalation, just allowing that space across the forehead just to widen, so the face feels wide and expressionless. Let the eyes sink back in the sockets. And even though the eyes are closed, have that sense of closing the eyelids again. Let the skin on the cheeks slip down towards the ears. Notice the coolness of the air as you inhale, the warmth of the air as you exhale. Being aware of the space inside the mouth as you allow the lower jaw to release. Swallow a couple of times. Feel that release in the throat, the back of the neck, and the back of the head. Allow the shoulders to soften. Top of the back softening. The mid-back. Small of the back. Hips releasing. Arms and the legs let go. Hands and the feet releasing. Fingers and the toes, and the thumbs release. We keep a softness in the belly. And as you exhale, exhale deeply with the belly moving back towards the spine. And then with awareness in the solar plexus, each time you exhale, exhale deeply, allowing the solar plexus to move back towards the spine. Allow the breath now just to rest at the heart center. Again, our center for love and compassion. Being happy, being content, being pleased with the effort that you put in the session. Happy with the progress that you've made. Content with the level that you're at. Keeping that sense of peace and a sense of love. Take 3 more breaths. As you're exhaling, exhale deeply into the whole of your being. So just slowly now, just start to gently move your fingers and toes, the wrists and the ankles. Swallow a couple of times, just bring back your sense of taste. Bring your thumbs over your fingers, bringing in that sensitivity of touch. Blink your eyes open. And over the next couple of breaths, start to make the movements maybe just a little bit bigger, and maybe drawing the knees in towards the chest. Take a rock to come back up to sitting. And then just joining me with your palms together. Just for a moment longer, just close the eyes. Bring thoughts back of your intention. And also something that you can be grateful for today. Truly grateful for. Even being grateful for the start of a brand new day. Start of a brand new practice. And then bringing the hands up over the crown. We slowly start to draw the hands down past the Ajna chakra, our intuitive center. The Vishuddha at the throat, where we speak our truth and listen well. Anahata, heart center, center for love and compassion. Manipura, the solar plexus, giving us our will and our drive. Svadhisthana, for our ability to change when we need to. And the Muladhara, for our strength and our stability. Just bringing the hands back to the Anahata chakra, center for love and compassion. And always remembering to hold a place there for yourself. Namaste. Hey, well done, you did it! Well done, everybody!